We'll go to item number 3, review and consider approval of Ordinance 786, Commercial Marijuana Operations Urgency Ordinance, an urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Coalinga amending Title 5, Chapter 15 pertaining to medical marijuana to add a new section 5.515.07, removing the current ban on commercial marijuana cultivation in the city. Number 2, amending the definitions of section of Title 9, Chapter 1, Article 2 to address commercial marijuana operations in context of crop cultivation and industry limited. And 3, amending Title 9, Chapter 5, Article 1 of the City Development Code to add a new section 9-5.128 pertaining to the interim standards for commercial marijuana operations in the city pending the adoption of permanent ordinance. David?
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, this is the urgency ordinance we mentioned at the last meeting that we would be bringing forth to the council. It is essentially the regulatory ordinance that we've been working on for some time now. The findings for urgency and adopting it tonight and making it effective tonight are set forth in the staff report. I'm not going to go through those findings. They're very detailed, but I am going to just do an overview of what the regulations will do and how they will protect the city. So the ordinance will require compliance with MRSA and other applicable state laws. That's number 1. It places responsibility on the owner and operator and requires the designation of a responsible party that will always be a person of contact and that we can hold liable along with the owner and the operator. All employees and independent contractors working on the premises must obtain an employee permit and pass a background check. The operator must maintain a register of employees having employee permits, and that will be always available to the city and the police chief. No marijuana or alcohol may be consumed on the premises. Retail sales are prohibited. There will be no public access to the premises. No exterior signage is allowed on or off the premises that evidences the facility as a commercial marijuana operation. The facility must implement odor control measures so that odors distinctive to the operation are not detected outside the premises. All building and fire codes must be complied with, including those applicable to the extraction process. So we will deal with any potential issues relating to fire hazards and explosions through the fire department. The building must be secure, locked, and fully enclosed with no ability to see inside. A number of security measures are required, including perimeter alarm monitoring, video cameras with full police department access, remote monitoring ability by the police department, electronic track and trace systems for the product, and the ability to inspect and audit to make sure everything is being done correctly. The owners of a marijuana operation must register their business with the police department at least 60 days prior to opening and demonstrate compliance with the requirements of the ordinance. And part of that registration process includes owners and operators providing detailed information about the operation and passing a background check. Once the registration process is complete, the owners and operators will be deemed to have a permit to operate, and they may proceed with their operation. A registration can be revoked for violations of the ordinance in the same manner that a CUP could be revoked. So that would be the Planning Commission could start the process, which could be appealed to the City Council. So same process. We're not inventing new procedures, and that's how it would work. The ordinance establishes a revenue-raising fee equivalent to the proposed tax that's going on the ballot, and that's $25 per square foot for the first 3,000 square feet and $10 for each additional square foot utilized in the marijuana operation. The ordinance requires that the owner undertake various accounting measures to ensure compliance with the ordinance, and again, we can audit to make sure that's working. The business owner, operator, and all responsible parties agree to defend, hold harmless, and indemnify the city from any liability associated with the adverse determinations made by the state or federal government relating to the marijuana operation. And the business owner will be required to carry minimum amounts of liability insurance. So that's kind of the broad overview. There's a lot more detail in the ordinance itself, but I think that captures the essence of the regulations. We believe with these regulations, there will be no impacts from this operation.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions from the council?
I just wanted to go over, someone had asked me about the water, and so if you could just read the water part for me.
So the water, in essence, there was a letter from the Bureau of Reclamation saying that, well, if you use water for this operation, we're going to report you to the Attorney General. I have to look at the exact language. And that's all they said they would do. It didn't say you can't use it, just said that's what we're going to do. We believe it's a lawful use of water for this business. We don't think it violates any rules. We don't think it will hamper us. But if for some reason the Bureau of Reclamation said that you cannot use water for this operation, then we will assist the developer in finding alternative water resources, but we will not guarantee there will be another water resources. So we do not think it's an issue. We think it's perfectly lawful. We looked at the contract. It's a commercial operation. We don't see any issues. But if, worst case scenario, the Bureau says, nope, we're going to cut your supply to the city, if you keep using it for a marijuana operation, then we will work with any owner or operator to find alternative sources. And if we can't guarantee that though, but that's all in here. And so all the owners and operators will understand that there is that risk out there and they're taking that risk.
Okay, are there any other questions from the council? Okay, this is a public hearing also. We're going to open it up to the public right now. Does anybody like to address in the public hearing, yeas or nays for this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing.
Excuse me, I do have one question from the attorney. May I ask who from the Bureau or who was it that said that there was possibility of cutting the water? Do you have a name?
There was a letter.
Or a letter? Could you identify who that is?
I don't. City manager might know.
Yes, it was Irma Leal.
Okay, thank you.
And just one last thing I forgot to mention, the urgency ordinance does require a 4/5 vote. So 4 members of the council must vote to approve it.
Okay, council, would you like to vote on this?
I move ordinance number 786.
I second.
I'm sorry, who made the second? Okay, thank you.
Vosberg.
Councilmember Rain?
Aye.
Councilmember Vosberg?
Aye.
Councilmember Lander?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Keough?
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey?
I also vote aye. Okay, we'll go to item number 4. Review and consider approval of ordinance number 787, commercial marijuana operation, Claremont Custody Center, site rezone, urgency ordinance, an urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Coalinga changing the zoning for Claremont Custody Center site located at 185 Elm Avenue in the City of Coalinga from the PF Public Facilities designation to MBL Light Manufacturing Business Zone District pending the adoption of a permanent ordinance. David?
Yes, and Mayor, members of the council, this is the ordinance that will actually zone the property, the Claremont Custody Center site, the property that's available for sale, to the MBL Light Industrial Business consistent with the general plan. And so that's the action being requested of the council tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? Okay, this is also a public hearing, and I'm opening up the public hearing. Do we have any yeas or nays that anybody would like to talk about on this ordinance? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, seeing nobody raising their hand. I'd like the council ask for a vote.
I think I'm in a rut. I move ordinance number 787.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Councilmember Rain?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keough?
Aye.
Councilmember Lander?
No.
Councilmember Vosberg?
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey?
I also vote aye. Okay, thank you. Thank you, David, for your help on that.
You're welcome.
I know it's a lot of work. Okay, we'll go to item 6.3. We've moved that up. So item 6.3 is consider approval and disposition of development agreement for the sale of Claremont Custody Center. David?
Yes, and Mayor, members of the council, Assistant City Attorney Mary Lerner is going to do the report on this one.
Okay.
Good evening. Before the council tonight is the disposition and development agreement regarding the Claremont Custody Center between the city and between Latchkey Pioneers LLC. That is an LLC where Casey Dalton and Kelly Dalton are both the members of it. The key terms of this agreement, the purchase price for Claremont is $4.1 million. Closing is contingent on necessary city approvals for the commercial marijuana operations at Claremont. A portion of the property is being kept by the city for the animal service facility and maintenance facility. The city will retain a temporary access easement on the property. The city and the developer will also negotiate in good faith a fence separating the Claremont property from the retained city property with the cost shared 50-50. The developer has 60 days to conduct due diligence, and that due diligence includes land examination and code compliance examination. The developer will have access to the property and may commence at-risk improvements prior to closing. The outside closing date is December 31, 2017, but the developer may waive conditions of closing at any time. The fiscal impact to the city, again, will be the $4.1 million from the sale to be placed in the general fund. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the council? Are there any questions on this subject from the audience? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you. So you're approving the DDA for signature, correct?
Well, we have to vote on it, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion if anybody would like to.
I move we approve the disposition and development agreement for the sale of the Claremont Custody Center.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Rain,
Aye.
Councilmember Vosberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Lander,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Keo,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to take about a 5-minute to 10-minute recess right now. So we'd like to thank everybody, and we're just going to take a recess right now. Thank you.